Questions for reflection. In our first reading, Nathan the prophet speaks to David, the king of Israel, and reminds him of the Lord's promises to him to establish his throne forever. And in the psalm appointed for this day, David the psalmist sings of that same promise. In the Roman Catholic liturgical calendar, today is the feast of Saint Joseph, the husband of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and the foster father of Jesus, the one through whom the promises to Abraham, David, and all the Old Testament prophets is fulfilled. In the genealogy offered in the Gospel of St. Matthew, that's the first chapter of St. Matthew, we see that this promise is partly fulfilled with the choice of Joseph as the foster father of Jesus. And I quote, "Jacob was the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom Jesus was born, he who is called Christ," end quote. On this feast, we should reflect on Joseph as a model for all Christian men, indeed, for all Christian believers. Though little is said about Joseph in the New Testament, even the lack of writing reveals his greatest lesson to all of us. Because for Joseph, it was never about him. It was about Jesus and his mother. Is that true of us? In our second reading, the Apostle Paul reminds the Romans and all of us of the kind of faith Abraham had in these words, and I quote, "Abraham is our father in the eyes of God, in whom he put his faith, and who brings the dead to life and calls into existence what does not yet exist. Though there seemed no hope, he hoped and believed that he was to become father of many nations in fulfillment of the promise. Just so will your descendants be." This is the faith that was reckoned to him as uprightness. End quote. Abraham is our father in the faith. The Catholic Catechism explains, and I quote, "Abraham thus fulfills the definition of faith in Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Abraham believed God, and it was reckoned to him as righteousness. Because he was strong in his faith, Abraham became the father of all who believe." End quote. How strong, how real, how alive is our faith? In the gospel appointed for this feast of St. Joseph, we read St. Luke's account of the finding of the child Jesus in the temple after the family visit on the Passover. Notice the words of concern which come from Mary, the mother of the Lord, to the child Jesus. "My child, why have you done this to us? See how worried your father and I have been, looking for you." And Jesus replied, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" But they did not understand what he meant. After this, they returned to Nazareth, where Jesus was raised by Mary and Joseph. Joseph had a vital role in those years. He was, as St. John Paul called him in a marvelous letter he wrote on Joseph, the guardian of the Redeemer. The scriptures say little about Joseph, but even that absence speaks volumes about the character of the man. He loved Mary above himself. He was prepared to do the right thing when she was found to be with child. Through his response of faith, he received the gift his fathers longed to see. Joseph was a humble man, a model to men who choose to walk the way of the cross. Joseph accepted his unique vocation as a guardian of the Redeemer. The child Jesus was given to Joseph. A carpenter, he taught this child how to work with wood. This same Jesus who learned to work with wood from Joseph during his 33rd year saved the whole world through the wood of the cross. In an age given over to the selfish pursuit of illusory pleasure, Joseph should be lifted as a model. Over 2 millennia, the mission of Jesus has continued through his body on earth, his church. He has entrusted the work of that mission to all men and women who accept the invitation to empty ourselves, to be filled with the love of God, and to be used in His redemptive mission for the world. God is looking for a few good men like Joseph who will work in the workshop of the world that He created to recreate it anew in His Son. We need to turn to Joseph and follow his example by courageously, humbly, and faithfully loving Jesus Christ. To give our yes to God. Joseph is our teacher and shows us the way, teaching us that actions speak louder than words. Have we reflected on St. Joseph lately? Let us do so today.